business.
Killer intro, bro. Killer intro.
Welcome back to Inane Blather, your source for business news, insider trading. And killer sports betting tips, as well as we'll read the weekly Urban Dictionary edition and learn the lingo.
That's
you guys
us.
have been here before. It's episode 98. You know how this goes.
Happens.
If you're a new listener, prepare
What
to
are you
be
doing?
surprised. But oh shoot, it's a Inane Blather where we do use a soundboard, so I should probably open it up because soundboards are the revolutionary weapon used by those who consider themselves to be
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive,
Oops.
obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
and I turned it down in the middle of it. What a horrible intro.
I love it.
I just realized, I was too busy reading the New York Post to do all this properly.
mistake.
I didn't have my notes open. I don't even know why I have my notes open. I'm not going to use the notes here. Let me use this instead. Okay, behind the scenes stuff. I'm all set up. I hope that you are too. How was your day, Natalie?
Fine. It was, someone had a case of the Mondays. No.
Really?
It was just like a day. It was fine. It was like nothing special, nothing not special. You know, that's how not special it was. It wasn't even not special enough to be not special.
Boring.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good.
So,
that's
good.
good.
The house was clean, though. I had a great weekend with my babes, and the yard looks great. Set up for hanging out back there. It's pretty fucking sick, if I do say so myself, and I do. So that's been a group
I'll
effort.
be the judge
so-
of that.
And you're gonna love it, or
Yeah.
you can fucking leave. Yeah.
Or I'm just gonna take one look out the window and be like, "Oh God!" and I'm just gonna have to get back in the car and drive away as quickly as possible down that narrow street. Or you could
families.
tell me first.
If you're not immediately enthralled by the state of our yard, then I will ask you to leave. You know?
Yeah, well, go for it. I mean, it's just more that really, it's just another example, just to throw on the pile. It's really shaping my worldview.
We should just start killing women.
So
We should just start killing women.
but anyway.
So forget about it, cuz.
So, it's been, I'm going to be over there this weekend, which should be fun.
Oh yeah.
I think, and we're not even going to worry about recording a live podcast. I always have to get stuff together. I mean, unless you really want me to.
No. It's too much work.
You're like, you know what?
You're ugly. You are disgusting. I'm going to kill you.
And I don't want to do that.
Plus, you smell
it's
bad.
just, yeah. Plus, I stink, and then you have to be in the room with me.
The door shut.
It's not only the reason that we do this virtually is because we live in different cities, but you moved to a different city because I smell so bad. You did live here.
I did, and
for
then
a
you
little
moved there,
while.
and I was like, no, thank you. I'll just
No,
let
I mean, you
anybody
lived
in this
here at my
place.
house
Oh yeah,
for a little while.
That too.
Yeah. And every day I'd come out and I'd tell you good night, and I'd say,
Go kill yourself. Go sit in the middle of the road and let a car run over you.
you know what?
Good times.
What a turn for, I don't know how different he is as a public figure or how he presents himself, but I had a random thought, and then
Congratulations.
looked up the opening scene to Scary Movie 4.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Pretty fucking funny. Just good
Yeah.
old, just funny. Zucker Brothers is Shaq and Dr. Phil. And Doctor Phil does a really funny little job and stuff. And now I just can't even, it's not even like some sort of ironic funny thing where, he's the no-nonsense Dr. Phil guy, kind of reality TV psychologist type of pop medicine type of thing. It's just like, he just sucks. Some of these people, it's like, why do you think that you need to do more outside of your TV persona and go make your views known? Why does Dr. Phil have to go on the fucking Joe Rogan? Why is he on Twitter and people are like, yeah, that's right, Dr. Phil, trans people are horrible or whatever. It's like, why do we need to know any of this? Now all I can think about while I'm watching a funny little sketch at the beginning of Scary Movie 4, where Dr. Phil cuts off his foot to get out of the chains and ends up cutting off the wrong foot. Classic. Funny.
Classic.
All starting with they have to get the saw by Shaq, making a free throw pretty much, and he keeps breaking it. And it knocks things off the wall, and it keeps hitting Dr. Phil in the head. And Dr. Phil's getting all self-conscious. He's crying. He's like, Mom was right. I'll never amount to anything. And stuff. He has deep-seated issues. It's funny. Yeah. But now I just sit there and I'm just like, this guy
Shut
sucks.
the hell up, bitch. That's what you want to say.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going to kill you.
I hope you get
There
ass
we go.
cancer and die, you son of a bitch.
But it does have Shaq in it. He can do no wrong. Love Shaq.
Yeah, pretty
Doesn't
much.
matter.
What did you say? Love
No, that's
Shaq.
the first
Baby love Shaq.
I love Shaq.
goddamn thing you've ever said that made one piece of fucking sense.
Okay. So, but
Nice.
speaking of TV talking heads, it's like this culture. It's not a culture of, blabbing. It's an economy. It's an economy of fucking blabbing. Once you have a personality and that's how you make your money, the only way to perpetuate that is just to make sure that people know your opinion on everything. It's the whole reason Joe Rogan is so famous and popular in the first place. He had a semi-interesting show
of Fear Factor
that people could listen to. Well, I mean, post podcast. He's kind of somewhat of a podcast pioneer, just in the way that he did it. And then now it's just
train.
well, did you see what Joe Rogan said about blank? Did you see what Joe Rogan said about this fucking electoral
Bullshit?
race? It's
Yeah.
wait a minute, take a step back here.
What are you saying? Say that sentence again. Did Joe Rogan say something about electoral politics?
Yeah.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah, exactly. It's unfortunately, we all do. Joe Rogan has a $200 million Spotify deal or whatever, and millions of normal people listen to him somehow. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, it should be Joe Rogan just getting high as hell and just saying stuff like
Creativity to me is just
it's like a bird.
like a friendly bird that
It's like
embraces
I was on
all
DMT this one time.
ideas and just shoots out of its eyes all kinds of beauty.
But anyway, the segues don't work. Let's just jump into these opinion pieces without reading them first. I'm purely going by headlines and this great,
Totally.
strange, and uncanny picture of my president, Donald J. Trump, on here by Cindy Adams. TV talking heads need to take a look in the mirror before judging Donald Trump.
Okay, I'm with it so far.
Okay, all right. Wait a minute.
I think I'm a Trump supporter now after this article.
What is going on here? Am I not? Is this a video or something?
Don't even get me started. What was my manifesto of petty grievances the other day? Because it was a big one. Oh, I remember.
Good. You do that.
Yeah.
I'm
You
trying
know
to figure
what?
out what happened
Guys,
here.
don't ever buy a new computer. It was the dumbest bullshit of my life. By the end of getting this stupid, just like a little
my
laptop,
God.
just started up. It took me so long to just get to the desktop. Like, all this. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? I told Doug, and I'll say it again, I wanted to smash this thing over Bill Gates' head. Like, seriously, be like, you dumb motherfucker, look what you put people through. Honestly, I was thinking about Kelsey setting this laptop up, and it was making me like, oh my God, she would hate this. But I was thinking about people like boomers and stuff. Like,
Sure.
Imagine getting one of these and be like, what is this bullshit? What is it? A Microsoft account? You get stuck in this stupid loop, sending an authorization thing to keep signing back into my computer because I haven't set up a password yet, because you can't like click through these things. You can't skip anything. You can't skip any
Yeah.
of this to just get to
No
it.
skippable
You can't set it on
cutscenes with this
on default. Yeah, you like
beautiful game.
it, and then searching for Chrome, immediately a pop-up from Microsoft Edge that says, hey, we run on the same stuff as Chrome with the added security of Microsoft. And it's like, shut the hell up, bitch. I'm never gonna use Chrome. I mean,
Go
I'm
kill
never-
yourself.
I'm never gonna use
Edge.
Edge actually
Yeah.
is it works pretty well. But if
But-
you already have everything in Chrome, too
I
bad.
have
I'm
everything
stuck.
in Chrome.
I'm already doing Chrome.
I have
all, right?
all of my Google Calendar. I have my Google Phone.
Yeah.
I have this all set up. Why would I want to switch to Microsoft, where Microsoft just has bad ideas? They have bad
and it's
ideas.
like,
Their stupid
if you
Microsoft
do-
stuff about buying bullshit. How you can't even buy Microsoft Office anymore. Everything
No.
is on subscription. They do not
Everyone does
innovate.
that. Sucks.
I hate Microsoft. You know what? Bill Gates, this is what I was thinking about. You dumb motherfucker. Your shit should be open source. Everybody should be able to have access to it for free. Your shit should
Yeah.
just be like all of it for free. This stuff is so long gone. You don't need the money. You're so beyond any of that. This shit is old. You're not innovating. You're not doing anything that's helpful. Starting this motherfucking computer was such a nightmare. I hated it.
Well, I
It
tweeted-
was so incredibly stressful.
Or Inane Blather podcast tweeted from Natalie, quote, at Bill Gates, suck a fat nut. Go to Best Buy and get a new Windows laptop and see if you can set it up yourself from scratch without getting angry. Also, quote, I hope he kills himself.
Oh my God.
So,
Well,
I mean, yeah,
that's
you were
because he's
going off like
I
a
was-
true queen.
Yes,
it's just
I was really
insane.
cooking.
I
It was
can't.
very frustrating.
I mean, I was thinking about exactly that yesterday, trying to print from my printer. And I have a nice printer now, and it still drives me insane. It's like, why is this not the simplest possible thing to do on a computer? Is just print. It's connected.
It's
on
one of the
network.
basic needs.
Why
too.
does this take so long?
Like,
What's
what
with
I'm
the
saying-
HP Smart Printing?
It literally-
beep. You know? So it has a $1,500 iPad and can't get it to print from like an office printer. What was it? She got it to print, couldn't find anywhere, has gone all through all these different things. I tried looking up some stuff for her, can't switch from portrait to landscape to print something in landscape mode. And it's like, dude,
It's one
like
of the
all
basic
of this-
functions of
all of this
having
stuff
a
is like a
device like
used
that.
car, and you can't do basic things. Oh my God, because they have you by the balls. They got
And-
you by the balls.
Because, what I was thinking was a brand new computer setup should be such a fucking breeze. Like, things have gotten... But you know what? So much of this bullshit is about like your security and your data and your privacy like that, because they're disgusting monsters who just want to make money off of us.
Oh,
it wouldn't be
yeah.
such a problem if they just
The
weren't
only
like just
innovation
money
is in ways to take our money.
Yeah, it's like not cool or interesting. I should be able to open a new computer, say, this is a work computer, I need it for standard things, and it just goes boom through the setup for me and like makes it so it's like, all right, you're running a whatever, like just basics. I need nothing. I couldn't do a 1 2 3 4 for my password, even though it's a fucking work computer that I don't need any, like I don't even have like an email on there. I just use like an HTML software kind of thing. Like I am using it for so basic. I can't use 1 2 3 4 as a pin. So it's like, well, good.
Really?
I hope that
Because you use 4 digits, but they won't let you use that.
they won't let me use a basic one. I have.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, great. Thank you for just making it more difficult for me. I can't use 0000 or whatever, even though I'm the motherfucker that's deciding this. This is my fucking computer. Why can't I decide what I want it to be? If I want to be a stupid bitch, let me be a stupid bitch. This is America. Like, and then just say, well, hey, your code is 1 2 3 4. That's pretty stupid of you.
What did you expect?
Yeah,
well, because then
like-
people are gonna turn around and blame Microsoft for their own mistakes, and it's gonna happen over and over and over again. It is crazy. Sometimes.
And what will happen? Microsoft's gonna lose in court? I don't fucking think so. To a bunch of like people like me, like am I gonna get a lawyer that's gonna beat a Microsoft lawyer? What are they afraid of? It's just so stupid.
No, instead they get to make it a little more difficult, and then all of their partners in this entire supply chain get to have a little taste when the old lady, needs to set it up and can't possibly do it. And so she has to have Geek Squad do it. She has to write someone a check to help her set up this computer just so she could check her email and play solitaire, or complain about how the Chinese didn't finish programming this computer, as our grandmother would say. But speaking of
Classic.
boomer idiots, okay, here's a different one. I don't know what. I said I didn't read these articles first. That other article looks like it was written by a schizophrenic person. Either that or it was just linked to the wrong article. I don't know. I didn't understand it. We can look into it sometime. But instead, from Kirsten Fleming, Jerry
Show her some
Seinfeld
respect.
actually had a great message for Duke graduation protesters. Too bad they missed it. So, of course, props to all of the, activists making a stand at graduations across the country. I really hate how easy it is to twist when, I don't know any facts off the top of my head. The show is such fucking garbage. But one of the major universities canceled their in-person one because of protesters that were gonna, stage a walkout and this and that. And then they're like, see, now the protesters ruined graduation. They ruined the commencement. It's like, no, the school
That was Joe
made the
Biden.
choice. That wasn't, no. Well, I mean, just straight up, the school was the one who canceled it, not the students, But there's
And
other
the reason
ones with,
that they're protesting is because of dead kids. So shut the fuck up about your stupid college degree.
Yeah, what are you getting mad about?
You still got a degree.
There was that one, which it's funny. I should just make up schools like I know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure it was Stanford. No, but as they walked by, each one of them in a row. So there's the camera trained from just below the stage looking up at them. So as they walk across and get their diploma, shake the hand, and then they're up on the TV screen for the whole crowd to see as well. And so as they got their diploma, shook the hand, and then they would face their phone directly into that camera, and it would say, Israel has killed over so many children, or we're asking the school to divest from Israel. We're asking this, just straight up good.
Nice.
Their points, what they're trying to
Civil
make.
protest.
And it was what I saw, the little section that I saw, it was 3 or 4 students in a row all did it. So it was there's no getting around it. The camera's there, and they just put your phone right up to it. It immediately focuses on the screen and just puts this huge message right up on the big screen in front of everyone. Oh my God, my ad blocking browser keeps asking me to donate, and I'm sorry, but you're kind of bugging me with this right now.
Another thing that Microsoft does is automatically pairs McAfee virus protection or whatever onto your stupid computer, and it...
No, not Microsoft. What? They have their own built-in
that's what I thought. I was like, Windows Defender has their, like, that's what, at the IT company I worked for, that's what we would just say. Just use Windows, like, that comes with it. It's just fine.
God.
So,
what brand of computer did you get?
It's a Dell.
Oh, that's why.
So, yeah.
No, you got to get an HP, the good stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyway, in the bizarro world of 2024 college commencements, at least the ones that haven't been canceled, Jerry Seinfeld, a man who riffs on breakfast cereal and Superman, is too controversial for some thin-skinned graduates of Duke University. Oh my God, you're playing immediately. You're already playing into it. People have been making these jokes for years about how ridiculous it is that Jerry Seinfeld has been trying to make this part of his comedian identity for the past 5 years or something, even longer, where it's like, oh, people are too PC. I don't even play colleges anymore. Mm-hmm. You're Jerry Seinfeld. You're talking about the difference between taxi cabs and Uber. What are you talking about? You're not too PC. It's like, okay, sure. If Bill Maher wants to complain about it or something like that, like, I get it. You know, I mean, I think it's stupid, but it's like, but for out of all people, Jerry Seinfeld has been trying to make it part of his shtick that he tells it like it is, though. It's like, no, that's a joke. That is a joke from the Come Town podcast in 2018 that I remember listening to a couple times. It's one of my favorite bits is Jerry Seinfeld unleashed, you know, and him actually saying non-PC things, you know. But it's like they're not. No one is upset with Jerry Seinfeld because his jokes aren't PC. He's, number one, an outspoken Zionist doing photo ops with IDF soldiers right now. Mm-hmm. Number two, the people that aren't blinded by the nostalgia or setting it aside for the sake of liking Seinfeld, the TV show, which I will still always say I love. Mm-hmm. Love Seinfeld.
He's
be like,
not relevant.
Oh, what, we're supposed to respect this literal pedophile? What are you talking about? He was at the height of Seinfeld fame in his 30s, dating a 17-year-old girl who was still in high school. What?
Classic.
That's how anti-PC he is? Well, I don't remember him ever including anything about Shoshana in his stand-up bits, especially since he did the same bits for 30 years, you know? And it's like, and he never brought up his underage girlfriend.
I wonder why that is.
But anyway, so I guess he's too much for the thin-skinned graduates at Duke University. On Sunday, a small group walked out screaming "Free Palestine" as the comedian was introduced as a commencement speaker. Oh my God. All right, here we go. Why? Mm-hmm. We're left with only one conclusion. Because Jerry Seinfeld, 70, is... Are you going to finish it?
A boomer?
Jewish.
Oh my God.
And gasp, visited Israel to meet with families of victims taken hostage by Hamas on October 7th. Seinfeld is zealously apolitical in his stand-up. Yeah, exactly. No one is upset about his stand-up, you psycho. Mm-hmm. They're upset
his controversial takes.
About
That's
this
Jerry.
Absolutely political thing. that
Yeah,
you just said he visited another country to meet with families of victims taken hostage by someone that Israel is quote unquote waging war against. It's as political as you can get,
Yeah.
And if you want to actually talk about those merits, then it's like, yes, these people who walked out yelling "Free Palestine" disagree with his politics to an extreme degree.
Yeah, Palestine and all those dead kids, that you're talking about.
Yes.
Remember how he was visiting people? There's also other people that have been dying, not just the people Jerry visited.
Yeah, and you know what? On top of that, anytime, especially now, it's like, oh, it's because of the hostages. You do not care about the hostages. You can't convince me, unless you've been calling for a ceasefire as well. You don't care about them. You only care about them as far as they can be a political tool. I mean, Hassan was getting into that with that crazy blonde lady on Piers Morgan, but where it's just like, I mean, if you cared though, you would want a ceasefire, because that's what most of the families of hostages wanted. Because what else is going to happen if you're literally destroying all of Gaza? What is going to happen? You've already personally, knowingly murdered 3 of the hostages, when they were coming back with white flags. I mean, the IDF killed them. Israelis. And it's like, so fuck off with your billionaire visiting Israel to meet with family. It's like, no, you drink coffee in vintage Porsches, okay? Like, come on. But anyway, nope. The only reason, even though they mention exactly what his political stance is, the only reason that they're upset with him is because he's Jewish, according to this woman. So
that makes sense.
He didn't jog onto the stage wearing an Israeli flag draped around his shoulders, or used Harikva. See, I don't know enough about this. The country's national anthem as his walk-up music. He wasn't there to act as a proxy for Netanyahu, or to deliver a blistering defense of Zionism, or an argument against divestment. Well, why is he there?
I feel like it's like,
why?
so if they're not, if people with shitty
does...
views aren't talking about their shitty views, you can just talk to them. So if Hitler's all like, yeah, so I was just like doing some painting classes the other day, and people are like, oh yeah, he's not talking about how he hates Jews. So it's like, so just because he's not talking about the master race doesn't mean, or means that you could just like have a nice conversation with someone with
talking
a
about
horrible
how to not
viewpoint.
really nail good perspective in painting.
Yeah,
that's what
how
he
to
knows.
not make it into art school. He has a lot of experience with that.
Nevertheless, some 30 or students, great proofreading here, New York Post. Some 30 or so students, I would guess is what they mean, couldn't stand to hear an American Jew deliver a commencement address.
Yeah.
And thought they'd really make a statement by, wow, and then followed by a sentence fragment. And thought they'd really make a statement
you're literally
by being
writing
disruptive.
an article about it. Didn't they make a statement, since you're literally writing an article about it?
Oh my God. By being disruptive, thereby collectively usurping Christian Leitner as the most detested Duke graduate of all time. No, oh my God. That is brutal. That is insane. Fuck you. That's crazy.
Is he a rapist?
No. No, that's just sports. I mean, people... Oh, yeah, because of him losing them I mean, Christian Leitner... you can look all into that. But I mean, for Hoops fans, yeah, I'm sure that Hoops fans at Duke University, like one of the most storied basketball schools of the last 40 years outside of Kentucky, now think that those 30 students that walked out chanting "Free Palestine" are worse than Christian Leitner. Yeah, right. But
that's I guess a joke goes over my head as non-basketball.
But an encouraging thing happened. The sensible crowd booed the protesters and chanted, "Jerry, Jerry," as he received an honorary degree and delivered universal pearls of wisdom in his native tongue of sign language. Oh my gosh.
Kill yourself. Go sit in the middle of the road. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, yeah, let's see. He was one of the, Christian Laettner was one of the greatest NCAA players of all time.
I don't care about
Back-to-back Duke National Championship
Whatever. I
teams,
don't care.
Player of the Year, game-winning shot against Kentucky in '92. He was hated by everyone. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. And he played 13 seasons in the NBA. Yeah, there was that game winner.
Sounds like a real loser.
Yeah, that game winner in '92 in the national championship game. Anyway, so let's see here. He poked fun at AI and he praised bees. More importantly, he urged the young graduates to laugh and joke, including at stuff that might be too hot for HR or your uptight identitarian friends. Oh my God.
like, what are you joking about, Jerry? Make a fucking Palestine joke if you're so fucking edgy.
Yeah.
God damn. Like, you think that you're so cool and you're talking about bees being helpful to the environment?
How about make a joke
yeah.
about Israel being behind 9/11 or something, and then come back to me, you know?
Yeah, it's like if you want to be edgy, like make a joke.
Let's see. For a man who created a show about nothing, Seinfeld gave a speech about a lot of meaningful principles. Too bad the most self-serious members of the audience walked out before they could hear his advice. I just realized that I've had my microphone upside down for like the past 3 episodes, so weird.
Nice.
They and their comrades LARPing as social justice warlords in North Face tents are absurdity in action. And then they're talking about Princeton and other places. Just making fun of protesters. The comedian who is reportedly a billionaire also took on the thorny issue of privilege, a concept that intersectionalists have decided is an original sin. White privilege, rich privilege, cis privilege, yada, yada, yada. Nice Seinfeld reference. I would like to take a moment to defend it. I say, use your privilege, Seinfeld added. To applause.
Nice.
It's like, yeah, I mean, they might as well. They're graduating from Duke University. I hope so. I hope they use it. You only live once. But
yeah, and you know, it's funny because like people who like actually understand what privilege is and all that kind of stuff would say, yeah, you should use your privilege. You should use that privilege. You just have to be aware
for
of it.
good.
Like yeah, exactly. You should use it like to help other people that
Yeah.
don't have those privileges. You need to understand that you have this, so use that to make the world a better place.
Yeah, it's just like
Because-
that's what intersectionality actually is about. It's about how to view, your place in society, your actions, and how they affect other people, and all that through that intersectional lens. It's a perspective. It doesn't change you. It doesn't change anything. And no matter how many psychotic wet dreams you have about being canceled or something, when you just run an HVAC company and say stupid shit on Twitter, like, it has nothing to do with you particularly. You're not that
They're coming for me.
special. Yeah, it's just like you can have privilege, but that doesn't mean you're special. It's like, I don't know, just people just won't take like these facts about the world and actually use them to, more to engage critically with with the events that unfold throughout their lives. It's just so strange. People purposefully wear blinders. I mean, and it's just like stuff like, to applause Jerry Seinfeld, he dropped this blistering truth. My point is, I can't do a Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
My point is, we're embarrassed about things we should be proud of, and proud of things we should be embarrassed about. Okay, sure. I mean, is that a blistering truth?
Like what?
Like what?
Like-
That could be on a fucking refrigerator magnet.
And like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I
what are we
mean,
proud of that we
that's
should be embarrassed
just-
about? Unless you're talking about like American history, then I'm right there. I'm right
No,
there
I
with
mean,
you on
or
that,
if you're
Jerry.
just talking about yourself personally, it's just a boomer reinterpretation of the internet adage of don't kill what makes you cringe, kill the part of you that cringes,
That cringes.
right? So, indeed, imagine the privilege of having Seinfeld as your commencement speaker. But because of his faith and not being a 100% match on your ideological bingo card, he must be rejected, jeered, and interrupted. Like, it's just so gross downplaying that, though.
Because
it's
he's
like,
not 100% match on your ideological bingo card. Yeah.
It's like, so, it's like, okay, so let's say you go to Liberty University and the commencement speaker is the current head of Planned Parenthood. Okay? Mm-hmm. You know that people are going to be upset about that. You know, or what's it? Is it Liberty or American something? I think Liberty University is one of those Christian ones, right? I mean, just some sort of conservative bullshit. Like, you're not going to say, oh, just because they're not a 100% match, just because they disagree with some little things. It's like, no, it's understandable that these like pro-life psychos would be upset because they have a legitimate
pro-life
grievance,
psychos.
like with this with this ideological difference. Yeah, it's not a 100% match, but what doesn't match like is important to them, you know?
Yeah.
And right now, especially with an ongoing ethnic cleansing campaign and tens of thousands of dead civilians dying at the hands of our taxpayer-funded equipment, you know, it's like, it's a big deal to some people. It's like you're just refusing to believe that people like actually care about things. Yeah. Take anything, whether it's Israel, whether it's video games, whether it's, you know, sports. Like, don't you ever believe that people can truly feel about things, can have real opinions that like matter to them? Because if you accept that, then all of this is understandable. You can be upset with it. You can be upset with someone. They're interrupting my favorite comedian. You know, like what? Okay, but you have to understand that, like, you can't hand wave it off with they just disagree. It's just like, it's the same logic that gets people to believe that the Civil War was about states' rights. It's like, no, it wasn't. It's like, it was a very important, line drawn, you know, to slave or not to slave, right? Like, and
to blave means to
be
bluff.
like, well, of course, yeah, that's a big difference. Yes, exactly. Like, it was important to people, especially those people that were being enslaved, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Most
and
importantly, I would say.
there are people at these colleges who are Palestinian Americans, even. Even if you don't want to accept that people can have empathy and care about, U.S. funded death around the world and genocide and all of that, even outside of that, it's like, well, are you going to say these things that you said in this article? Are you going to go up to a Palestinian American who may have already lost multiple family members to the IDF in the past 6 months? Are you going to tell them this thing? Like, really? Would you? I truly, like, it
Hope
makes me
not.
wonder. No, I mean, but it's like, would you? Like, do you stand by this or not? Or would that change how you, maybe not how you see this conflict among peoples on a college campus? If it would change how you would speak it, I think that says a little something about what you wrote here, you know? Or all these people supporting Jerry Seinfeld just because they disagree with him. It's like, you know, people have pretty good reasons to disagree with him. He's a Zionist pedophile, okay? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what else to tell you. He's a Zionist pedophile who was the single weakest part of that entire show that's named after him. That's one of the greatest sitcoms of all time, okay? Everyone outshined him, and the writing was Larry David. I mean, come on.
I feel like, you know, it's an interesting thing about, like, caring. Like, it's really strange, like, the right wing, like, how they view, like, I mean, like, snowflakes and all that kind of crap. We know that, like, caring is not cool, evidently, for them, and all this
Right.
kind of stuff. But, you know, we've already talked about this before, but I think it's worth mentioning just, like, what it means, like, they, in America, you know, back after Sandy Hook, Barack Obama was on TV talking about
Yeah.
this shooting that killed dozens of what are essentially babies. Like in, you know,
Sandy Hook's
when you're talking like,
crazy.
when you're talking when you're talking first graders, I mean, you're talking like 6-year-old kids. They're so young. They're seriously just like, especially when your kids get older and you look back at them when they're that age, they're like babies. And he's
Yeah.
talking about the death of so many of them just gunned down at school. And Fox News, they're like, he must have some onions in his pocket or something.
Yeah.
Just so far beyond belief that someone could be moved by a tragedy like that. It's really scary
Yeah.
to think of like what it means, like to have a lack of empathy at that level where it's like, just because this is all like a battle of like there is no common ground between us. If you're on the left, you're automatically an evil person. You can't even care about children if a person on the left is caring about those children. Is
Yeah.
that what it means? Like, we have no common ground, not even innocent children? That's like
Yeah.
something you would think that everybody has in common. They're kids.
That's what
I
happens
mean-
with but that's a difference too. Well, for one thing, we already have that basis of these people who literally just don't believe that empathy either exists or is a good thing.
I guess.
And then all forged in years of pro-Israel, and I mean, not just pro-Israel, but quote-unquote anti-terrorist propaganda for
Propaganda.
so long. I mean, it's so easy to get so many Americans just to be, well, I mean, that's what happens. Terrorists shouldn't have picked that battle. It's like, these are children, but they don't see them as children. They're brown people. They're Arabs. They're Muslims. You know, it's just
Saying the word
just the
Arabs
cost of
is-
war. It's just
doesn't
the
feel
cost
good.
of war. So it's like, whatever. I mean, it's just like how they didn't care about all those fucking children that died in Iraq. You know, I mean, that's just the way it goes. I mean, we killed 500,000 people in Iraq. It's
For
just like,
sure.
and so it's already all primed just for them to be like, well, yeah, that's the way that it goes. It's war.
But it's like, but it's
war?
actually,
These kids
it
didn't
doesn't,
start a fucking war.
and it doesn't go that way in other wars. There aren't as many deaths of children in
Yeah.
other wars.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
I mean, because it's not just a war. That's what they won't believe. It's like, just because Israel says it's war, it's like, no, it's either, I mean, it's a genocide campaign at worst, you know, ethnic cleansing at best. And it's all been set up to be exactly that, because it's not the same as what we did. You know, what was that? I mean, that was, 4 months in to the campaign in Gaza. like they'd already killed more civilians than we did in the first 2 years of Afghanistan, and that's the United States. Yeah,
good at killing civilians.
Disgusting. Yeah, exactly.
We're among the best, I would say, worldwide. We're kind of killers.
Israel looked at our numbers back in like the war on terror and in the Middle East, and they're like,
hold my beer.
Boring. Yeah, they kind of loaded a little slowly.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That Doug guy? Wow, what a piece of shit.
What a piece of shit.
I don't know. I had to pick out something that would go to Israel. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you don't have... Yeah, it all comes down to you just don't believe. There's always some reason to not believe that people have convictions, you know? I mean, and when all else fails, people just still stand by saying, well, no, how much are they getting paid to do this? I mean, people actually believe that protesters get paid and stuff like that. You know what's funny, though? I wish I had the tweet handy right now. I would tell one of those people
to get a job doing that then.
Yeah.
Like, get a job then. Show it. It must be so fucking easy if these dumbass college kids can do it.
Soros
what am I doing?
Is going to pay for all this. Yeah, how about you make some fucking money and show me how?
And like, yeah, that'd be great. I would absolutely love to protest for a living.
It's
like my dream job.
I'll protest for the guy who helped create Media Matters. Sure, he's a billionaire. He's a piece of shit, but I don't know.
Get paid to just shout and be mad at stuff and just be disruptive? Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Did you watch the recent Some More News about George Soros?
About George Soros?
Yeah. It's really
I
great.
did with Humby the other day. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, yeah, so they just don't. It's that whole lack of empathy, lack of imagination, too, lack of inspiration for anything, because they only live their lives through consumption and showing other people what they consume. I mean, it's just that's what America does to you, you know, is just wears you down to being that kind of person. If you've slowly been fed, you know, the right-wing stuff and been pushed out, you know, into thinking eventually that, yeah, this is your dream life, living in the suburbs under an HOA and driving a gas guzzler and paying your taxes and complaining on Twitter and watching Fox News, then, yeah, you've been worn down to a nub. You're not a human being.
You're not a real person.
Exactly.
Mental illness is when you're right wing, you know, where you're lacking any compassion or, you know, belief in human dignity.
Yeah.
It's very cringe when you do that.
But
we should just start killing women.
But it's like you know. So then you're at a point where, yeah, you just don't have the imagination, just the belief that people can have these convictions and stuff, especially if they're young, they're college kids, they've been indoctrinated, they don't know anything about the real world, or they're if they're not college kids and stuff, they're jealous and they want hand me outs and stuff, the hand downs and hand me outs from people, and if that doesn't work, if they don't fit into that box, they're getting paid by the DNC, they're getting paid by George Soros, it's all a conspiracy. And these people, like, way too many people will believe that sort of thing. That's the conclusion that they will draw, because it's an easier conclusion to someone who has no sense of people doing something on principle. You know, they just can't comprehend, you know, because even when it comes down to it, their right-wing views or whatever, they also aren't going to actually go out into the street with a gun for their right-wing principles or something like that. Like no, they also think that people on the right wing that are the only comparable thing, you know, to protesters and stuff. Those guys that that go out and protest on behalf of right-wing things that are on your side, yeah, they storm the Capitol and they join the Proud Boys and they beat people up and stuff like
They're
that.
white supremacists.
Exactly. They're nationalist
Hate to break it to ya.
psychopaths. That's what your side is about when they actually have some sort of conviction. And it's pretty
they kill
unfortunate,
people.
and you'll make sure, the back of your mind will make sure that you don't realize that's the path that your ideology takes you down. If you want to
Not good.
take the fork in the road away from those crazy left-wing protesters and agitators and people that couldn't possibly just have a set of principles that they want to stand by. Even if they just want to show people that they stand by them. It's all performative, yada, yada, yada. I don't care. It's the same thing in the end, okay? They're standing up for something good, and that's that. But,
What is worth standing up for? Just like God or America or whatever? Like that's the only thing.
Being able
because
to eat jalapeno poppers during the pandemic, that's what's worth standing up for.
Nice.
About not wearing a goddamn mask.
Anti-DEI, anti-mask, anti-vax. Those things are all worth like going out there and being a patriot. Protesting, taking down a statue of a Confederate general or whatever. That's worth getting someone killed over, But
Do you see that those?
Who fucking cares?
What that school district decided to go back and change the name of the schools back to Confederate general names? After they changed them, because those people who use their right-wing convictions and stuff and actually get out into the street or get out into politics, end up on these school boards, on city council boards, on John Oliver's piece on libraries. Oh my God. Some of the most frustrating stuff. I was so upset. Some of it was a bit much, but still I watched most of it with Sophia because it's like people like this are out there trying to take
libraries
books away, and eventually libraries shut down because psychos end up on like these city council boards and libraries and stuff like that and apply these so-called principles if they can be called that they're learning using their so-called brains, if they can be called, that they're learning from fucking Facebook groups and Newsmax, and they're applying it to the real world. It's like if these left-wing college students had any, structural support, systemic support, anything that could make them even somewhat comparable to the wave of localized right-wing movements and the actual impact that it has on day-to-day life. These people like this fucking Yahoo that wrote this story in the New York Post would be quaking in her boots. Because it's like, because they'd actually be getting some stuff done and making the world a better fucking place. But
that would be for everybody, and we can't have that.
Colleges might divest and stuff like that. It's just crazy to me that people can still argue about these college protests when there are colleges that successfully did this, that made it a democratic process, that made a deal with protesters. Protesters got their voices heard. They talked to the school, and they're like, well, it'll be put up to a vote, shake hands. You don't have to demonstrate on the lawn anymore. Everyone's going to class. It is what it is. Thank you for speaking up. This can be done everywhere. And instead, you want to invite a Zionist pedophile to your commencement speech. Okay?
Yes. This is America, Doug.
And if you want to correct me and say, no, he's technically an ephebophile, then it's time to get your hard drive checked because
I don't know what that word means, and I think I'm glad I don't.
Because you're not a libertarian, okay? There's an old Nick Mullen bit where he says, there's age of consent laws. See, this is related to Jerry Seinfeld, right? So there's these age of consent rules. Of course, anyone under the age of majority, like 18, it's statutory rape. If you have sex with a minor under 18. But lots of different states have these rules, like they call them, I forget, or they call them Romeo and Juliet rules or something. But where, there's a certain age range, like if you're within 2 years, like if you're 18 and your girlfriend is 16, it's still okay. Or if you're the kind of person who knows these laws off the top of your head, you get to go to jail.
You have the FBI immediately on you.
There's these rules that are already up here, and if you're the type of person who knows those rules, you are a predator. But
seriously,
it doesn't matter. Jerry Seinfeld was 30-something or 30. I don't care. There was a 3 in front of there. So
yeah,
but it's like, and they don't even need that as ammunition. It's a current ongoing conflict, and the guy is being a fucking weirdo about it, and he's loving it. You know what is so great about all this for Jerry Seinfeld?
People actually are talking about him.
Yeah, people are talking about this instead of the movie that he just put out that has been universally panned by critics and audiences alike. It is a pile of shit. And
garbage, trash.
Oh, everyone hates
just
me.
because he's Jewish,
anymore.
Yeah. Like, also, like, you haven't had anything like relevant in a while. So
yeah, it's like, and you know what? And
cares?
You don't have to. Comedians in cars getting coffee was a cool little idea. Had a lot of neat interviews, and you talked about cars and had some cool cinematography and talked to interesting people. You did a cool thing after Seinfeld. You could just fuck off and do whatever you want. You're literally a billionaire.
Get a fucking life.
He's just, as many people have pointed out on Twitter, he is just upset that Larry David has proven that you can, in fact,
he's the funny one.
do this. For one thing, anti-PC kind of stuff, abrasive humor. And also prove that you were the funny one behind Seinfeld the entire time, because Curb Your Enthusiasm went on for years and years and finally just ended. So
yeah.
So are you doing anything different with work? Are you still doing the food bank?
I was doing a food bank last week, but I'm doing a Humane Society.
That's right.
This here right now. Support your local Humane Society if you can, because it's something I talk about. All the work that they do, blah blah blah. Of course, like finding homes for animals. It's something that I think as Americans, we kind of can really take for granted that we just don't have a bunch of like dogs running in the streets. Like there can be.
I don't know. Come to my town.
It's not
even
like
that
other
has
countries.
been improved since when I first moved here. It was kind of weird.
It's definitely a lot worse in some other places in the world. Just like the streets covered in dog shit.
Yeah.
Just like, talk about wildcats and stuff like that. We have a lot of shelters that also, do probably they don't like necessarily the term no-kill shelters anymore. They do socially conscious sheltering where animals sometimes do have to be euthanized because of their health or because of their, they're just not behaviorally sound to put out into a community, like ever,
Right.
even through behavioral training plans. So it's just like really, on a case by case basis, but animals never being euthanized for like space or time spent there, is something that
a writer for Slate.com.
yeah, or like
Bonnie
they're never
the Beagle.
euthanized because of just a woman getting tired of training them, like Cricket, the vice president to Bee's dog. But anyways, so yeah, but like also the other things, like who would you call, like if there was an animal like a squirrel or a raccoon or something like that. A lot of humane societies will help with that. That's what the one that I am talking about. They have a wildlife rehabilitative like program and a place where sick and injured wildlife can come and be rehabilitated at site and then sent back out. And I think that's pretty cool. It's like a thing that it's a huge problem. Like the way that animals, like not just helping get squirrels and all that kind of crap. But domestic animals, there's like 70 million homeless pets in the United States. There's so many pets in need of a home. There's just so many pets. There's a veterinary shortage that can't even keep up with the number of pets. Like it just is true. It's a huge problem. So making sure everybody chooses to adopt and not shop is really important. And, just if you can get your kids into like volunteering, or if you yourself wants to volunteer or whatever, donating to your local animal shelter, shopping at a store if they have one, just supporting the work that they do, because that's a work too that is every single day of the entire year, day in and day out. Always animals need to be fed. Always animals need to be cared for. Sometimes people are bringing in animals off the street. They need emergency care. There's all these things that, it's kind of a thankless job. People that support it, it's nice to talk to the animal lovers that, do give us the support. And they're really
animals don't
people
thank you.
The animal, yeah.
They
but
can't
also,
speak English.
animals, they can't advocate for themselves. They can't do anything but hope that someone will take care of them. And some of them get it really lucky, and some of them don't. Like there's however many millions of cases of like abused animals every single year. Just really.
I just had a
they're
customer.
such like.
I just had a customer. She
Yeah.
came in with a little dog, a really sweet, cute little dog, and
She punched it in the head.
Yeah, and the dog just immediately just attacked me. And I was like, oh, so sweet. No, but, and actually I hadn't seen her with a dog before. And I was like, so what's the dog's name and stuff? And she's like, I don't even know yet. She's like, someone threw the dog out their car window, slowed down, threw it out on the side of the road. And I saw it and I picked him up, and he's just been walking around with me. He's really sweet. I was like, oh my God.
Because
people just got rid of their dog, just tossed it. I was like, good Jesus.
Really, we do have a responsibility to these animals. We not only, there are things that happen. You hit a deer, or these things like wild animals. Yeah, we should obviously, of course, care for them. Literally, humans created dogs and cats.
Yeah.
We made it. We made those species. Like, it was not, we are God. We are dog God. So,
Dog got
it's like very much our responsibility to make sure they're cared for, I think. So, yeah, that's what the Pasadena Humane Society, every single year through their adoption services, veterinary services, lost and found, like a aforementioned wildlife rehabilitation, among other things, they help over 40,000 animals every single year. So that's a lot.
We'll stick to mammals, though. I mean, if you have a problem collecting too many, like, fish or something, I mean, the solution...
People have to flush their toilet 15 times.
That's the way that it goes. So.
Nice.
And the fish just go down the toilet just screaming. But, okay.
That's a good one. All right.
Real
bye.
fact, okay? Think about this. Peanut butter can be converted into diamonds. Think about that. Okay, I love you.
No.
Shout out to.
Okay, I love you too.
Okay, shout out to Aaron Brown. Shout out to everybody.
Our Lord and Savior.
Hey.
Zach and Danae and Kelsey and whatever. Humby and all these people. I don't think Humby ever listens to the whole thing because they listen to it on the drive to my house, which is only like 45 minutes.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah, it was a long one today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I love you. Free Palestine.
Okay. Love you too. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.